started.
Gilbert 007MF from Chile. Let's try E4 here. C5, a Sicilian. Play the open Sicilian like I usually do. And see what we get. This is an early A6. There's different ways to play against this. Let's try C4. That might be the O'Kelly Sicilian. Try the Maroczy bind setup against it. Okay, pawn here. Just to keep his knight from hopping into the G4 square, and I can develop my bishop. Okay, yeah, so we got a very normal looking Maroczy bind position here. I'm going to castle kingside. I'm going to try and keep all my pieces on. So if he plays knight to, I didn't even play that. I was going to say if he plays knight c6, I might even retreat this knight to c2 just to keep the material on. And see if I can play this the way you're supposed to. I sometimes have trouble because it's a go slow strategy with this setup, the Maroczy bind. Just play normal good moves, defend things, and try and take advantage of your extra space. I guess I can grab even more space with these pawn pushes on the queen side at some point. There's a few weaknesses in his position here. Holes on b6. Okay, so that knight is looking at the c4 pawn, so let's protect that. There are also ideas just of kicking this knight away at some point, but let's finish my development. Get the rook to the c file, the other rook to the d file. There's this weak pawn here I can put pressure on, and so I have a lot of moves I can make that are kind of routine moves, and we'll see if black manages to solve all those problems developing. And there's always this cute tactic, often this cute tactic, I can't say always, knight to d5, pawn takes with tempo on the queen, but it's got to hit a piece. That's if a piece lands on c6, I guess. I could consider that. Sometimes, or over here, I guess. I do get to grab a pawn over here. Let's think about this. Knight here, pawn takes, and then the queen has to move. Then I could grab another pawn, takes back, and the queen can't go anywhere, so I can take here with the knight hitting the rook. And if the queen went back, so it all depends on where the queen went. The queen could also come out here. Knight here, pawn takes, queen here. It's not possible because my queen's on that square. Queen here is not looking good. Queen could go back here. Now let's try this. It just looks interesting. I'm not entirely sure this is sound. But it's kind of forcing. It hits the queen, it hits the bishop, which is unprotected, and the bishop goes with check. And it seems like I get... Oh, what was I thinking? I was thinking I was going to take a pawn there. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, there's still this hole here, but the knight's protecting that. There's knight here. Not very promising, really. Knight here hits the bishop, but it's defended. It hits these pawns over here on the king side. Maybe there's something there. Knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes, sacrifices second piece. Or bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes, threatening mate. Maybe that's a little something. Maybe that's a little something. Bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes. What does he respond? Plays bishop here, probably. He's got knight there, too. Okay, I can't kick this knight away easily because it can come into g4 here. Supported by the other knight. That's not so great. Okay, bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes, threatening over here. How can he protect g2? With this knight coming here, that would be... I could take that, right? Well, you know, I'm down. I'm down so much material. I have to continue attacking at this point because nothing else will work. Everything else will lose anyway. And if he doesn't take the bishop, then maybe I've gotten some material back for my piece that I've sacrificed. It'll be up to 2 pawns. But that 1 pawn for a piece, that was a pretty poor sacrifice. I had some kind of double vision. I forgot this pawn was not going to be here anymore, and I was planning to take it. Okay, so he lets the queen come in. Let's see what his plan is to defend. There's just a simple queen g7 mate threat. Ah, he takes the knight. Yeah, that makes sense. No, I can't do that. I was going to say I could check here, but then he could block with the bishop, so that doesn't help. Now I could check. And he can't block. What I really need to do is lift a rook. It's unfortunate this knight here is unfortunately placed. Maybe f4 and rook to f3, and bring a piece over. Oh, that's probably good. Now I don't have this check here anymore. Still, I need to play f4. I need to try and get something going here. Controls this square here where the bishop might have come to chase my queen away. Allows me to lift a rook if that knight moves. Oh, it still looks a little bit tricky. It's not probably not sound at all. But what does he do about the rook lift here? The king still has no moves, right? Here. So the rook can't come over and chase my queen away. The bishop comes here, but I can take it. Bishop here, or knight here, would be interesting, I guess. But then check, interpose, and then mate, right? This is looking dangerous. Well, I missed several ideas before, so I may be missing something now, but it looks pretty good to me. How does black defend? The king can't move, the rook can't get over. The queen is kind of blocked in by the pieces, only like these minor pieces. So knight here or bishop to f6 looks like the only tries, but then check and then mate. And if that was a bishop f6, check, the bishop comes here, but then I take it. Knight f6, rook here, check. Can he interpose in some way? Yeah, knight over doesn't help. Oh, bishop there. Ah, now that's an idea. So that controls the this square that I wanted to deliver the check on. So I can attack this with the rook, right? I can play rook to h3, maybe getting a piece back. And he can take here. Gosh, he starts to win lots of material there. Rook here, knight here, rook here, knight there, check, king moves, knight takes there, and then checkmate. Okay, we'll see. We will see. Well, this guy is defending resourcefully, which is good. That's what you should do. So here, this gives a piece back, and then I'll be down a bishop for 2 knights. So I'll still be down material. Is there a way to come out better? Yeah, and he can trade queens too. So rook takes, queen takes, rook takes. He can grab here, hitting my bishop. And so I need to move the bishop with tempo. How many checks I can throw in? I don't see it. So maybe I should take here. Rook, queen here, queen takes, rook takes. At least defends the f4 pawn. So what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have a bishop and 2 pawns for 2 knights. That's not all that uneven. After a terrible start, that's not so bad. Okay, what's Gilbert going to do now? You know, I should chase this knight off. Bishop to... okay, well, I don't even have to do that now. So rook to c3 to threaten to bring the rook over here. Looks like a good move. The bishop controls some of these squares the knight is hitting. He can run away. Okay, well, let's throw in this check. Or should I move the bishop first?
Check.
So what I have is I have a check, which will bring the king here, and then I have another check here. And the king will move here, I guess, and then this rook will be defended by a knight and a rook. So even though I have 2 rooks on it, check, take, take, take. He has enough. He has enough to cover it. What can I do with this bishop? I guess there's a good active square for the bishop. He can play the pawn up. Huh?
Check.
Now I have check winning the rook in the corner. But he can play rook to e8. That's what I'm expecting. His other rook to e8. Yeah. So this check here, once again, doesn't seem to win. Or does it?
Check.
Actually, it wins this rook. Because the king comes here, interrupts the defense of the rook. And then I take the rook off with check. And then I take this rook.
Check.
Nice little tactic. Okay, so now after being down material most of the game, I'm up the exchange and a pawn or 2. And yeah, I think he has every right to play on after what we've been through here. Let's see, I'm going to bring my king forward. I'm just looking at the squares he can check me at. He's going to get a pawn back. Got to have an active king here, though, and I have extra material, so I'm not going to focus too much on maintaining all my material. I'm just going to, let's see, 5 pawns against 4. My pawns are a little better connected. There's 3 and 2 versus 2, 1, and 1. And I'm just going to push these pawns on the king side here, and I think that's a winning plan. One of those pawns will queen. And hopefully I don't let my bishop get trapped. I was just noticing it doesn't have a lot of squares. But pawn to d5 is no longer a move here because the rook and bishop are controlling that. and pawn to b5. I can go to d5 with the bishop. Still, I guess I should start by playing a4. And then, okay, you can come in here with a check. These knights are so tricky. Okay, but let's start with a4. So after the knight check, I would like to keep coming forward. Maybe I can go to... maybe I can go to d2 here. e2. There's a check here and a check here. Both of those are covered. He has a check here and a check here, and those are covered. So here seems like a possible move. And now I can think about pushing the g-pawn forward here. Pushing that knight away to a worse square, hopefully, where it's not going here, here, or here. I could go here, coming in this way, or I could go back. Still, I think I need to do that. It gives the king another square here on e3 to attack this knight. Yeah, so now he's looking at these light squares here. I'm attacking the knight so he doesn't have time to check me. He's got to do something about this, and then I can grab this pawn with check. The king, you can see, is quite a powerful piece in the endgame. It's comparable in strength to a knight or a bishop. Maybe even a little more. I've read that it's given a value of 5 or 4, a value of 4 in the end game, where a knight or a bishop has a value of 3. So in between a bishop, a knight, and a rook. Okay, so he's attacking the king and this pawn. If I go here, there's another check here. It's not too bad. If I can't go here because of the knight, so okay, so that leaves here. And this check doesn't look too dangerous. But I can't keep coming forward a bit, unfortunately. Let's attack the knight. Yeah, his knights are good pieces. They keep harassing you. Okay, I'm going to grab up this last f-pawn here. This is an important pawn because it's in the way of my advancing kingside pawns here. So I see I can chase that knight away. He's got a check here and a check here. Goes after the rook instead. Let's try and chase that knight away. He defends. Well, now I can take the pawn because, no, the knight takes. Let's drive it away like this then. Okay, he's got a check here, which would win the rook, so let's not allow that.
Check.
Okay. Go over here to the other side of the board, and there's no fork here because this check doesn't hit the rook. Tricky business, you can see. These endgames, just have to move slowly and push those pawns forward when it's safe. Try not to lose them. Yeah, so he goes there. Let's grab another pawn. I can get pawns going on the other side of the board. That would be useful. If I go here and he takes with the pawn, take back, he takes with the knight. I go here, check, and pick up the knight, huh? It's just a way of clearing obstacles over here on the king side. His king is well positioned to stop these pawns, so requires some finagling to break through here. Okay, black is taking his time to think here. He's short on time. There's only half a minute left. There is a 4-second increment in this time control. I have 8 minutes with 4-second increment, but it's going to be tough to make all the moves. With it's still complicated. With knights on the board, it's always complicated. Yeah. So that was the idea. Was that pawn is protected indirectly by this fork. By the fork trick. And now this pawn can march forward, check, and there
check.
Where it's protected by the bishop. Yeah, so he attacks me with a check. I can go here. Yeah, this attacks the knight and stays away from that knight. Then I can go here.
Check.
And here.
Check.
And I'm just one step away from queening, and it's protected by the bishop.
Black resigns.
Okay, with 2 seconds left. All right, good game. I will upload this and do a postmortem, and it's my first win of the new year, so I will be happy for that. See you guys later. Bye.